Caribbean. The international community was shaken once again as the United States executed a massive military deployment right on Venezuela's doorstep. What many had dismissed as rumors has now been confirmed. 15,000 elite U.S. Marines have arrived in the region, accompanied by hundreds of AAV-7 amphibious assault vehicles ready for action. This sudden show of force has triggered intense speculation. Is Washington preparing for a full-scale invasion of Venezuela? Or is this maneuver aimed at pressuring President Nicolas Maduro into submission without firing a shot? The scale of this deployment is extraordinary. 15,000 Marines represent not just a symbolic move, but a fully capable Marine expeditionary force designed for offensive operations across continents. Equally alarming is the presence of hundreds of AAV-7 amphibious assault vehicles, the backbone of U.S. amphibious warfare. Capacity: each vehicle carries up to 21 fully armed troops. Armament: heavy .50 caliber machine gun and automatic grenade launcher. Unique capability: able to launch directly from sea to shore, securing beachheads for advancing troops. With hundreds of these vehicles, the U.S. could land thousands of troops in a single wave, potentially overwhelming Venezuelan coastal defenses within hours. Military analysts note that the composition of the force is too significant to be dismissed as just an exercise. Amphibious vehicles and Marines are not defensive tools. They are built for invasion. Operations: the U.S. Marine core doctrine typically follows a clear sequence. Naval approach: amphibious assault ships close in on target waters. Airstrikes: carrier-based jets and helicopters strike defenses. Amphibious landing: AAV-7 vehicles storm beaches, unloading troops under covering fire. Expansion inland: Marines push rapidly to seize ports, airports, and key government facilities. If such a strategy were executed against Venezuela, analysts argue that Caracas could fall within 2 weeks, given the disparity in military capabilities. President Nicolas Maduro quickly declared a state of national military alert after reports of the Marines' arrival. Venezuelan ground forces were deployed to key coastal regions. Fighter jets were scrambled for air patrols. Russian-made S-300 surface-to-air missile systems were repositioned to defend Caracas. Yet, despite these moves, Venezuela's armed forces remain vastly outmatched. Years of economic crisis and corruption have weakened its military, leaving it unprepared to withstand a full-scale American invasion. One Washington-based analyst noted, if the U.S. Marines move decisively, Venezuela could lose control of its capital faster than most expect. Behind the military spectacle lies deep political calculation. For decades, Washington has accused Venezuela of being a hub for narcotics trafficking and of destabilizing Latin America. Maduro's regime is also closely aligned with Russia, Iran, and China, alliances that directly challenge U.S. interests in the Western Hemisphere. By deploying such a force, the United States is sending a clear message: diplomacy alone is no longer enough. The question now is whether this display of power is meant to force Maduro into concessions, or whether Washington is truly willing to ignite a regional war. The world's response to the U.S. deployment has been swift and divided. Russia condemned the move, calling it an act of open aggression against Venezuela's sovereignty. China urged restraint and demanded that all sides return to diplomatic negotiations. Latin American nations were split. Some supported U.S. pressure on Maduro, while others warned that any invasion could plunge the entire region into chaos. Observers fear that if war breaks out, Venezuela could become the site of a major proxy conflict, with global powers backing opposing sides. Despite its overwhelming power, Washington faces several risks in any potential invasion. Urban warfare. Venezuelan forces could retreat into cities and wage guerrilla-style resistance. Foreign involvement, Russia or Iran, might funnel weapons, advisors, or intelligence to Maduro's regime. Regional instability. A full-scale war could trigger a refugee crisis, displacing millions across Latin America. For these reasons, some experts argue that the US deployment is more likely a psychological and political maneuver, a way to corner Maduro into surrendering without a direct clash.
The condition against the walls just like those guys, and then you're going to wash the candy paint off your fingers. Go ahead, lay your gear out right here. Tracking you saw here all over your face. I do that. Yes, so good. Here. Okay, right here. Me. You're good. Yeah, where's my body? Yeah, right here. Right here. Hey, you take some soap.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what we can break.
Do not lose this.
Make it more exciting for y'all.
So if that happens,
I'm pretty sure there's no sharks. Like, I don't think anything can live in that water. It's probably all dead.
So the LTAC is coming in right now, carrying vehicles, and it's going to come into the shore and down cushion, and then offload the vehicles. So once it hits land, it'll down cushion, the ramp will come down, we'll take the chains off the vehicles, and then the vehicles will offload and go to their designated place. That's pretty much what's going on.